Margaret Hudson shares her art and creative spirit with 2,000 school children every year. They come to visit her at her home and studio, and her wonderful paintings and sculptures are on display at Earth Art Studio in Fresno. Now to Fresno's famous. There's baseball's Tom Seaver, Broadway's Audra McDonald, and there's another name you might recognize, especially if you're a fan of horror movies, veteran actor Sid Haig.
Folks, you like blood, violence, freaks of nature?
He's why some kids are afraid of the circus.
Well then, come on down to Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen.
Horror fans know him as Captain Spaulding, the twisted clown / serial killer, a star of the films House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects.
It's been a few years since you've been in here.
Quite a few, yeah.
But face to face, this 71-year-old veteran actor isn't really scary at all. Born Sidney Eddie Mosesian, Haig was his dad's first name. He grew up in the heart of Fresno's Armenia town.
You know the exhibition hall?
Yeah.
Okay. The ticket booth is approximately where my bedroom was.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Sid says he was tall for his age. His parents put him in dance class for coordination. His first break came early on.
Because a 7-year-old kid in top hat and tails with a dog singing and dancing to How Dry I Am. Okay, come on.
That's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, right away.
This theater at Roosevelt High School was among his first acting venues. It's his first visit back in 53 years.
It's smaller than I remember. We had 2 productions a year. The junior class play, which was usually 3 one-acts, and then the senior class play.
Sid played Merlin the Magician his senior year. He moved to Pasadena for college, and the rest is entertainment history, including a lengthy list of appearances.
When you look back and you see that list, are you like, wow,
I was busy, yeah.
Since the early 60s, he's appeared in dozens of movies, hundreds of classic TV shows. Get Smart, The Lucy Show, The A-Team, usually playing the bad guy.
I have the distinction of having beaten up every good guy on television.
Well, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, I know. It's a job. Somebody's got to do it.
A career with ups and downs. In the 90s, tired of playing thugs, he quit to become a hypnotherapist. 10 years later, an interesting script lured him back.
And that was Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. And everything from there just went straight up.
Sid was named Best Actor in Villain at the Spike TV Scream Awards, a favorite at horror and comic conventions nationwide. He still plays the heavy, albeit twisted, in a genre that loves him.
I just, about a month ago, finished my 63rd film. In the swamps of Louisiana. Yeah.
Kind of like Fresno in July.
Yeah, except a lot more humid there.
He's got a face you've probably seen. A Fresno-born Hollywood transplant who's not too proud to come home.
Most of all, don't forget to take home some of my tasty fried chicken. Ha ha! It just tastes so damn good.
Sid Haig does still come to Fresno periodically. He does own a house here. He's a compelling personality with a variety of interests, including politics. He's a conservative and even ran for president in 2008. He says he got a lot of votes from his movie fans. The next story is about a man who touched me with his humility. He's a true musical talent. He plays the fiddle, not the violin, and he's received national recognition for his old-time sound.
You can't help but feel good when you hear this. A lifetime of skill, some fast-moving fingers, and one heck of a good ear on Fresno's 82-year-old Carl Parnell.
So you have an ear for music? People say that?
Yeah, people said that.
And they've been saying that for years. Carl's been fiddling as long as he can remember. His dad taught him to keep the square dancers happy in his home state of Oklahoma.
My mother wouldn't let him play for dances anymore, so it turned that over to me.
Carl moved to Fresno in his early 20s. He doesn't read a note of music. He can't. Childhood glaucoma left him legally blind, so his keen sense of hearing took over.
If you hear something, you can play it?
Yeah, you know, If it's really complicated, I might have to hear it more than once.
He's humble, but this lifetime member of the Old Time Fiddlers Association has plenty to brag about.
I got to hug Miss Idaho when I won this.
Like the 1991 National Championship, where he won a buckle and a hug from Miss Idaho, a North American win, and 3 state titles.
This was a sort of an honor, more of an honor trophy.
Okay.
It was given to me because, well, that they ruled me as the best liked fiddler. Now I'm patting myself.
Like his dad taught him, Carl shares his gift, teaching as many as 40 young fiddlers, never charging a dime.
Here's Stephanie.
It's been a few years.
Starting with tunes like Boiling Cabbage.
There you go. There you go. You did it, Stephanie.
He's encouraging and gifted, a true musical artist.
Carl Parnell fiddles 2 to 3 times a week with his trio called Happy Trails. Most Saturday nights you can catch them at Fresno Senior Centers. It's been 33 years since the death of Elvis Presley, yet there's still plenty of interest in him as a performer. While Elvis is no longer here, the Valley is lucky to have the next best thing. Jeremy Elvis Pierce is keeping the King's legacy alive.
If imitation is the greatest form of flattery, Elvis would likely be impressed. His look, his moves, his sound.
Thank you very much. And you got to get the lip, you know, like a fish hook.
All carefully duplicated by the Valley's own Jeremy Pierce.
I'm the only full-time Elvis tribute artist in the Valley.
Las Vegas! And it's a full-time job he takes seriously, performing and honoring Elvis Presley, the late king of rock and roll.
It fills a void. That's why Elvis tribute artists became so big after Elvis's death, is that people weren't ready to let him go.
Jeremy was introduced to the King at age 6, 4 years after Elvis died. He never saw a live show, but studied every move on film and tape.
When I was a kid growing up, Elvis was always like a superhero, larger than life. And, you know, the capes add to that.
Jeremy has the capes, the belts, replica costumes.
You know, this is the Matador, the Starburst, the Fringe.
And even some real stuff.
And then down here, I also collect Elvis things, and this is a jacket that Elvis wore on stage in the 1950s, and it's part of my personal collection.
He's an Elvis tribute artist.
And this is Elvis's 357 Magnum.
With an amazing collection.
And here's my latest treasure. We just brought it back from Denver. This is Elvis's 1977 Cadillac Eldorado.
This was his car.
This is his car. This is the last Cadillac Elvis ever bought in his life.
Jeremy figures he's performed as Elvis about 3,000 times, an image he presents with skill and respect.
It just gets kind of weird if a guy is constantly looking, it just, you know, that's the goofy impression that everybody gets of Elvis tribute artists.
From Graceland to Fresno, loved by fans in the Valley and beyond, keeping memories of an entertainment icon forever alive.
For people who are around, we're bringing back memories. For the next generation, it's our job to introduce them to Elvis.
He's Jeremy Elvis Pierce as the king of rock and roll.
Jeremy has performed Elvis more than 3,500 times at nightclubs and casinos and parties nationwide. He was also voted one of the top 10 Elvis impersonators in the country. When we come back, we're talking food, and you don't have to travel far to find the best. We are Fresno, and we are hungry next.